Hey everyone, it's Jakov, and I'm back again today with a new video for Total War The Dawnless Days. In this case it's going to be yet another battle replay between an army of Dale and an Easterling force. However, in the case of this Dale army, it's actually going to be an army straight from Dorwinion, being comprised entirely of the army of the Vineland region. So yeah, the Vinland Guard units essentially. So with all that said, it's me versus the computer, me playing as Dale, or Dorwinion in this case, and the computer playing as the Easterlings. The headcanon for this battle is that the Vinlands of the East have been attacked by a force of Easterling raiders, so the men of Dorwinion have been forced to pull up their forces to put them into the battle. So we'll put it into slow motion and we'll start by looking at their units. Looking at the Dorwinion army, their general unit is a unit of the Vinland Guards, one of the most elite units that they can field, and also a potential general for the Dalian faction as well, overall. So yeah, very heavy swordsman, covered completely in armour, very indomitable and a gold tier unit at that. Looking at the front of their force, they've got 3 units of the Vinland Watchmen, which are a pikeman unit, relatively middle tier, but still not too bad, quite effective when used properly. Looking at their supporting unit, they've also got the Vinland Guards, so we've got more of them in a support role. So they're protecting the flanks to keep the pikeman side nice and safe. And then looking at the front of the faction, we've got the Vinland Yard Patrollers, who are their bow equivalent unit. So yeah, pretty cool guys overall. Now looking at the army, you can see it's made up of 3, so we've got 3 archer units, 3 pike units, and 3 swordsman units. And that's because the Vinland units are all they all have restrictions on their recruitment, meaning you can only have 3 of them per army. So I had to max out on their strength, which meant 9 overall. But yeah, this is the most amount of Vinland units you can ever have in an army without adding in mods that get rid of unit restrictions. Well, so sorry about that if you heard that. I think my phone just went off, but yeah, we'll try and ignore that. Moving back to the front lines of the enemy units, we've got the Warlords of Rune leading the army. Then, in support of the gold tier shock unit, we've got a couple units of runic warriors, which are their tier 2 axeman unit. These are like their standard mid-game warriors. Then, quite a lot of them. Then, in support of those, we have the runic archers, which are their archer equivalent. So, yep. And then, making up even more of the force, we have the clan axemen, which are the bronze tier Aisling axe unit. However, these guys also come equipped with skirmish abilities because they've got javelins too, so they're a bit more useful than your standard starting infantry. Then, bringing up the support line, we've got a couple of units of clan spearmen, just in case they need to hold and pin our line for whatever reason. So yeah, that's both of the armies going against each other. Looking at the unit count, the Dalian force, or the Dorwinion force, is outnumbered almost 3 to 1. So yeah, not exactly great odds, but you never know how it'll turn around. Okay then, people, so I've cut to the point where both armies are now close to each other, just for your viewing sake, and yeah, as we can see, they've massed up getting ready to attack, and they're about to close with the Dalian line. However, in the back they've still got a couple of units in support, which in my opinion is a bit of a stupid idea, but who am I? I'm not the PC, am I? So yeah, our forces begin to unleash their bows, or in this case their arrows. Thinning out their forces bit by bit. Now I'm going to say one thing, the Easterlings made a really big tactical mistake here, at least on the computer's part, and that was, with all these archers, they decided to try and engage in an archery duel with our forces or skirmish our general, which was not a good idea. Instead, if I was them, I would have solely aimed for the pike units and shot them apart. And you'll see why in a bit. And here we have the first infantry clash of the battle. And it begins. And the Eastling officer is already stuck deep in the middle of it, which is not a good position for him to be in. So yeah, already their archer units have suffered quite horrifically, and yeah, I went out of my way to shoot their archers because I knew getting rid of them would be the key strategy here, in case they unleashed their arrows on our pikeman unit. However, The thing is, with all these skirmishers with their javelins, they should have just chucked them right into our lines. It would have caused so much damage, but instead they chose not to. And as far as I'm concerned, that was a massive mistake on the part of the computer. Instead they targeted our archers, which wasn't really worth it. Horde after horde of warrior. See, now they're getting ready to move in. But I respond to that with the Vinland Guard, my general unit. Yeah, sorry about the lighting. Tilla's not exactly known for having the best lighting in the world, and here it's kind of shown off to its full extent. Now you get to see what happens in a one-on-one fight between a general unit of gold tier status and a bronze tier starting unit. Yeah, it's kind of a massacre. See, and all this clumping up, it's not really worth it, because all you're doing is making an easier target for my forces, your enemy in this case, but also it means that you can't flank around, you can't use your extra numbers to use mobility to kind of force the enemy to respond to your plays. Instead, you're making it very easy for me as a defender in this case to respond to your moves. And yeah, well, it is true this is the computer, and the computer is a bit more sloppy than most players, as am I. It is still an interesting demonstration of what to do and what not to do. So just archer fire raining down. General's gotten mixed up in it a bit. And their general unit is probably the only unit that they have that could tear apart the Vinland Guards in a one-on-one fight. Given that they are equivalent units, except that they're shock infantry who were designed to tear through swordsmen. Pulling out of it. We see... yeah, just a big blob of corpses. As you can see, these Vinland Guards haven't even entered the battle yet. And a big part of that is, one, I was kind of worried about them deploying their forces from the side and hitting us in our rear if we swung around to catch them. But also, I wanted to see how few units I could use and still bring about a victory. And now the Yard Patrollers join the battle. Well, the archers aren't the best warriors in the world, the Vinland Yard Patrollers. Against the runic warriors, they're at a bit of a disadvantage, but especially the clan accent, those they can beat in a one-on-one fight. Also, you'll notice neither side brought cavalry to this engagement. I just want it to be more of a plain old-fashioned infantry slugfest. Also, I'd have to rely on different units then in the case of Dorwinion. I just wanted it to be a purely Vinland force rather than anything else. And now the general unit of my force and the Vinland Yard Patrollers who were supporting them swung in to catch the infantry forces that were surrounding the flanking Vinland Guards. Yeah, big old infantry sandwich. And I do love the different contrast between the armours. You know, you've got these warriors wearing their bright red and you know, well, for the runic warriors, they're bright red uniforms and gold, in comparison to the Vinland forces who wear either really nice creamish brown coloured armour or silver, or well, metallic silver I should say. Looking at the balance of power, while we are still under strength in comparison to them, they've lost way more of their army. And we've still got a lot of our units left in reserve. We've still got these forces over here who we could chuck in. And who might also enter. There goes another unit, cut down. And here's something that they keep doing which I find really stupid. Throwing in forces, then pulling them out and chucking them in. I understand cycle charging when it comes to cavalry, because yeah, that's what they're intended to do. Infantry, and especially shock infantry, you're not meant to do that. You're meant to chuck them into the line and keep them until they punch a hole right through, if possible. See what I mean? All they're doing is just charging in, charging out, charging in, charging out. So instead my forces decided to bring the battle to them. See, and now they've brought up their final archer unit, but really, one archer unit's not going to change the tide of battle. So yeah, not too much going on, apart from the slaughter. Still pulling out their general when the general could have been really useful in this situation, but alright. And again, just keep on pushing. Just keep on pushing, don't give them time to recover. The quicker they shatter, the quicker you can move on to the next unit. See, and now they're using their javelins, but at this point, it's too late. They're going to get swamped. Broken. Now their general's about to join in, but even he, what chance does he stand? The general charges in, and the clash occurs. And both sides just get stuck right into it. And yeah, well, they do make a bit of an impact at first, and I'm pretty sure this is their officer. There's not really much they're going to be able to do. So there stands the Easterling general. But he and his forces just break and run. Yep, and the slaughter continues. It's cutting down everything in their path. And honestly, just looking at it, over here you can see just how many of our forces didn't actively deploy into the end stage of the battle, especially these forces over here. We really did win with just a small fraction of our army, generally speaking. Looking at the unit stats at the end of the battle, you can see which units did amazing, which units didn't. We lost about 500 soldiers, had about 850 left, that's not too bad. The enemy lost over 2,000 soldiers and had almost 900 left. Looking at our forces, This Vinland Guards unit, my general, got 291 kills, that's amazing. This unit got 327 kills, that's great. This one got 0, which is kind of bad, but then again didn't actually deploy into battle, so can't really blame it for not getting kills if it didn't fight. This unit got 80 kills, which is, it's not too bad. This one got 279 kills, which is great. 327 kills, amazing. 338 kills for this archer unit, 312 for these guys, and 385 for these. So these guys are technically the MVP when it comes to the most amount of kills that they got on the battlefield. Looking at the Easterling force, their general got 72 kills, which is very And then the only other unit that really got anywhere close is this unit with 66 kills, and this unit with 75. Everywhere else barely got any kills. So yeah, they weren't exactly that effective. So there we have it, people. The force of Dorwinion versus the Easterling army. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Rest assured, similar videos to this will be coming up in the future, as well as unit rankings. I haven't forgotten about those. With all that said, please, again, like and subscribe. It really would mean the world to us. We are such a small channel here, so every little bit helps. That said, this is your host Jakov, signing out.